Alright guys, welcome back. Let's what happening between our borders in county and countries.
Day. And this is the recognition of the fact that young Kenyans saying, please don't mess up our future anymore, decided to go to the streets in exercise of Article 37 of our country's constitution. Yes, sir. Oh, thank you. This guy is bringing me my talking notes. Clap for him. It's too late. It's too late. It must have been sent by Paloma Gatabaki. So after this, they'll be wondering, what did this party leader do? What did he say? Well, it's all in my mind because I'm supposed to give you that experience and to be able to bring you up to speed. I don't know how many of you will have watched my interview, a very long interview, on one of the leading podcasts, Ikoneni. How many of you watched that? Because if you did, then you will have taken, honestly, there are things I must have said there that you never heard of.
Kindly please click that subscribe buttons, then allow the notification buttons to be on. Whenever you're producing a video like this one, YouTube will automatically giving you a notification.
Because we want to bring you up to speed, so that you can take it up from there. We are not stones, we will not be there forever. I feel myself that my kind of generation has the responsibility to put this country together again, imbuing our, in the nationhood, in our nationhood, the spirit of constitutionalism. And the rule of law, of course that is the rule of law, and then take it over from there. Because I must at some stage enjoy company of my grandchildren going forward. And so you guys have some work to do. But you're coming from various political formations. First of all, can you integrate and understand that you will differ politically, strongly, but at the end of the day, like lawyers, my profession, Cyprian is here and others, we argue in court. And argue, you think these people are enemies, but from there we go and have coffee together. That should be the spirit of our multi-party democracy. So that whether you are in ODA, in ODM, in Wiper Patriotic Front, of course, if I had the opportunity, looking at you here, I would do some serious engagement. Register all of you as Wiper Patriotic Front members, okay? And then give it over to you. Tell you, guys, take it. Patriotism. Remember, this is why Wiper Patriotic Front has to change and to rebrand. Because you have to take into account the feelings and the aspirations of the young Kenyans, the Gen Zs. They were armed with a bottle of water, their national flag, and their smartphones. And what did they get in return? They were killed. They were maimed. And that's why I ended up saying, wait a minute, you're taking the joke too far. You cannot arrest young Kenyans who are exercising their constitutional freedoms under Article 37 and then charge them under the Prevention of Terrorism Act and take them near maximum prison in committee. That's where the anti-terrorism court is, next to it. And to put in you maximum fear. That you will never again speak your mind, that you never will be living under fear that if you exercise your constitutional rights, you end up in committee. But young Kenyans are beyond that. In fact, they are so amazingly fixated with the idea of liberating their country that no amount of intimidation will deter them. And of course, they're also riding on the shoulders of younger legislators, people like Caleb Atemi here, Dan Maanzo and others, Babu Owino. I see Babu is supposed to be speaking. I don't know where he is. Edwin Sifuna. Fearless young leaders. And they are not even proclaiming which political parties they belong to. They are saying we are young Kenyan leaders. We want this country to be better. And of course, for some of us believe we must leave it better than we found it. So, our sponsors for this event, we remain ever grateful. Don't think these are fewer. These are very solid minds. And I was trying to see whether they are gender sensitive, because then I would declare the meeting unconstitutional. And I see they are. The mix is good. But I want to urge you then, you must resolve to remain vigilant, to be able to say no to corruption. Somebody told us this morning, now this thing about corruption has hit the glass ceiling, went beyond. It is now a way of life for Kenya. You must refuse that. Because how can corruption be a way of life in Kenya? There are things that must happen. Because if we say no to corruption in real time, we'll be able to give our young Kenyans free secondary education. There'll be no problem with capitation. It's the thieving, it's the thieving ability of our leadership that has astounded the nation and also astounded the region. At a time when we should be reaping from the youth budge, what the world has recognized as a youth budge. You do not have this big problem in Europe. Europe is getting older. But Africa is bouncing. Not even COVID. COVID could not decimate our populations. We are coming up. And these are young people. Some of them benefited from President Kibaki's program on free primary education. By the way, I was Kibaki's vice president. So a little credit should come my way. All right? I've seen it all. I was Minister for Environment. I was Minister for Tourism. I was a Deputy Speaker for a whole 5 years. I've seen it all. I've seen political treachery. I have seen people going to detention the wrong way. But we say, afadhali hiyo at detention, somebody will come like this young man has brought me this paper, come and serve your document, you're going to detention. What is this thing called abduction? Abduction? Just to defeat the fact the Constitution outlawed detention without trial, then to beat that, you detain in Subarus, in the boots, and take young people everywhere, confuse them. Now, we must stand up. The time to stand up, young Kenyans, is now. From across the political divide. I must be honest with you, some of us watched it, we saw these excesses, and now, for whatever it means, I will stand where the people are and defend the Constitution properly. Properly. And I just wanted to pass this over to you, and while I suggest, Kidi, a structured inter-party dialogue involving the young Kenyans. Now, my friend Raila Odinga, whom I've had the honor to deputize 10 years, and then support him another 5 years unconditionally, hoping he was going to become the leader, because I thought Raila Odinga and I shared basic commitment to this country. Now my brother is on the other side. I'm left standing. And believe you me, I'll stand until there's real change in Kenya. Because one time, one of the leading papers, then get a Standard, put up a headline, "The Last Man Standing." The last man standing. Have you seen the paper saying the last man standing? I said, yes, somebody has to stand. Because if we all now say yes, sir, and get compromised beyond recognition, what happens to the future of this country? So we must dig in. And I'm here to tell you, dig in. Look at the values we have under Constitution 2010 and Article 10. Look at your rights. Also recognize we are not an island nation when it comes to the issue of human rights, for example. Human rights are universal, and we have imported all those UN resolutions under Article 1920 of our Constitution. They have become part of our domestic law. So I just here to encourage you to stand strong. And believe you me, we'll be with you, whether or not you are Wiper Patriotic Front or Democratic Party or UDA, because I can tell you, a time is coming when Kenyans are going to say, wait. It cannot be any other way than change. The change that has eluded this nation is coming. So don't give up. Help is around the corner, and play your role. Play your role fearlessly and strongly. What Kenya needs is really not strong men anymore. Africa, strong men. Kenya needs strong institutions. We have the EACC, for example. Is it strong? Is it compromised? When William Ruto, the president, went to, before he left to the summit, Tokyo, Africa summit, in some place in Japan, he put together what he called a multitask agency to fight corruption. After telling members of parliament, you are all corrupt. And then members of parliament, I'm told they did not eat lunch at that KCB retreat. They all left. He said, man, how can you tell us corrupt? And it is you who sends this corruption money to get us to impeach your deputy president, to impeach whatever, and the numbers are known. How can you call us corrupt? So you can now see, yeah, you can give a dog a bad name and then kill it. It's a challenge to you then, members of parliament. What are you going to do to let Kenyans believe that you are still leaders and you have a little spine left in you? Now, if you're spineless, I tell you, the practice of Kenyans after every 5 years, they actually, over 80% of leaders, members of parliament and senate, go home. It looks to me that this time is going to be a clean sweep, because Kenyans want change and you can't take it away from them. So I must conclude my remarks, because I was supposed to encourage you. Remember, strong institutions, not strong men and women. You are strong. And also country needs strong young men and women. Because you see, you're stronger than I am. Believe you me, even if you see us dancing here, hey, or something, to a sikuti or something, Caleb, if you go dancing a sikuti, you and me, I'm sure you leave me behind, because we must accept surrendering the things of youth as well. But please remember, we must combine wisdom with energy, with youthfulness, to be able to hold this country together. And then hand it over. Before you came in, Caleb, I said, we get this country back on track and hand it over to the next generation. That is a Gen Z revolution. And you know, you have inspired the world. Prime Minister of Bangladesh had to flee by helicopter to India. It has never been the same again. Sri Lanka. I think this is why the KK administration were afraid. They thought people were going to walk here and swim. I don't know, there's a swimming pool in State House, I don't know. But they were swimming in Sri Lanka. And yesterday, a Prime Minister of Nepal, you must have seen it. Again, the youth people inspired by the Gen Z revolution in Kenya. Kenyans, you must clap for yourselves, because this is really something. They say no, but don't worry, moderators, if they demonstrate sometimes intolerance and polarization. Because unless again we mold these young people together to be able to sit and discuss and agree, they're seeing the excesses. And how do you deal with excesses? Do you say, oh, let us sit and agree that Kenya is a multi-party democracy? It's already in the constitution. Do we sit and say, let us fight corruption? The institutions are there. Or do you come out and throw them out? So the young people, that's the only thing. How do we manage their fury? Believe you me, even as we speak, the anger that was demonstrated on the 25th of June, 2025, when the young people demonstrated against high cost, high taxation. This country is the most overtaxed nation anywhere in the world. And they said no. And you overtax us and you steal from us as well. We'll say no. So before you sit and moderate them, allow them to vent their anger. That anger is still present in our country. And nobody can pretend that Kenyans are not angry. If you get people getting gangster type of execution, like happened to this advocate yesterday, you get people coming up with rungus, state-sponsored violence. I repeat, state-sponsored violence. And you tell them they can sit with you and discuss. Please, if you believe in multi-party democracy, which is in the Constitution, then you must tell those with instruments of power not to misuse those instruments. Allow political parties to organize. I saw somebody from DCP, right? They hear Gachagua, regarding Gachagua, the next thing is tear gas, throw him, don't allow him to address the... Honestly, it is not possible in a democracy to deny people the right to speak, the right to go to church. Even in churches, some of us are in church, they throw tear gas in the church. They beat you up. I want to urge the Kenyans, let us pray that this culture of violence, state-sponsored, where the police also distribute rungus to goons. I think that I like very much what the Law Society is doing. Some Law Society sponsored a motion or something in Parliament to make it impossible for leaders who believe in goonism never to be elected. Because how will the young people then grow up? And the unfortunate thing, it is the young people who are given those rungus to beat up their fellow youths because they don't belong to the same political belief system. You beat each other, senseless, you kill each other, you maim each other. And then the state will say, we'll compensate you. We'll kill you, then compensate you. My honest submission is let there be a blanket admission by this administration that they wrongfully detained, they wrongfully maimed, they destroyed people's property and blamed it on other wrong people, that there must be a blanket apology to the Kenyan nation. That would be something. But you cannot just, compensation without justice is not compensation. Honestly, there must be justice and demonstrable ability to say sorry. You're not a fool when you say I'm sorry. Or even you say please. Just to say please and sorry. In fact, the greatest leaders are those like Mwalimu Nyerere, who stood up and said, I am sorry, I introduced Ujamaa kind of socialization. It didn't seem to work. I'm sorry, Tanzanians. We need leaders who are able to say sorry because they are not angels. Nobody is an angel. So I must conclude, ladies and gentlemen, by encouraging you and telling you, mbele iko sawa. But before it is sawa, we must do what we must do. And I tell you, the biggest thing is our constitution. With that constitution, unless it is overthrown, this country will now grow up with you guys looking at you. Even in fact, you're able to sit like this from Wiper Patriotic Front, from UDA, from Jubilee, from everywhere. And you're able to sit like this. Go tell your leaders, tolerate each other as well. I'll tell them myself, I'm never afraid of them. I tell them. Because I know each one of them. And much as I acknowledge my own weaknesses, I know the terrible weaknesses on the part of some of our leaders. They do the opposite of what they say. They tell you, double-faced people. They tell you, hey, we're going to rid this country of corruption, and go and immediately the next thing is any procurement. Devolution, they say with devolution, they don't believe in it. But let us be careful not to devolve corruption. It's already done. It's been devolved as well. We must really, there's a lot of work to you guys to do. The governance structures, even the youth council, interparty council, must also try to bring up, in my view, my honest advice, some structures, governance structures, that will continue to say no. And you see, for now, we must continue to call out to this regime and to tell them it is not to be business as usual. This revolution is ongoing. And And it will come to its fruition at the ballot box in 2027. And nobody can do anything about it. So we are just telling IBC as well not to be partisan. We are watching. They already procured materials. I must tell you this. They've already, even before the new Ruto Commission came into place, the CEO of IBC, they may have told you this, have already procured materials for 2027 election in the absence of the commission. This is how bad things can become. Will you believe that? It is true. So that they will have eaten before the commission comes in. This is the truth. This is a tragedy of our country. Therefore, young people, your future is here. May God bless you. Mbele iko sawa.
And with that, guys, thank you for choosing Kenya Political Brief as our primary news platform, more so on politics. Kindly please share this video to a friend. If politics is your passion, this is the place you really wish to be. Kindly subscribe. Bye-bye. And with that, guys, thank you for choosing Kenya Political Brief as our primary news platform, more so on politics. Kindly please share this video to a friend. If politics is your passion, this is the place you really wish to be. Kindly subscribe. Bye-bye.